Hi everyone, so we're going to be looking at how we can install UI Kitten into our Expo app. So first thing, let's go back to our code and we're going to actually have to install UI Kitten. So if I go to the documentation, get started, and if I scroll down, it'll say where to start. Click on that, scroll down, get started. And then here, we're going to go down to manual installation because we already have our app set up. So what I'll do is this React Native SVG, we can install it separately for Expo, but I'm not going to install it right now. I'm just going to do the basic setup. So I'm just going to do UI Kitten component and the Eva design Eva. You must have both of these in order for it to work. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code and I'll paste the command line here and then I'll enter. Now that we have installed the UI Kitten, it's going to show up in our package.json right here, UI Kitten /components. And we want to go back to our app.js here. And we have to do a few configurations here at the root of our application. Actually, look, if we go back here to getting started and we scroll down, we can see here that at the root of our application, we have to configure the application provider in the app.js. So we have to grab this line of code right here, application provider, go to our app.js. I'm going to surround everything with this application provider. So this closing tag here, I'm just going to have to put it at the end of the application here. And indent, save. And we still need to import the application provider at the top of our project as well. So if we go back over here, we can see that we have to import the application provider, and we also have to import Eva at the top. So if we copy this, we can paste this at the top here. I don't need the layout and text for this page here. And here we could see we got the import all from Eva and also import application provider. This is required in order for this library to start working. So once we have this, we could save it. And I'm going to go back to my screens, home.js. And right over here, I'm just going to remove this text in between the view right there. And what I'll do is I will go back to the documentation and I'll look for, in the components section, I'm going to look for button right here, button. And I'm going to just import a simple button on the home page. So if I click on those brackets there, here we could see we have to import a few things. So button, layout, and text, we can just copy this portion and I'll go back to my code here. In my home.js, I'm just going to be importing button, layout, and text. Since we have button here, we cannot have button right here, React Native, so we have to delete this part here. And also we got text here, so we have to delete the text from React Native. We can only have the components imported once. And I'll save it. I'll go back to documentation here and I will copy this portion of the use state. I don't want to copy all of it because we're not going to be using this React part. We're going to go back to our application and in between the export and return, we will paste this equals use state of position 0. And we have to import the use state. So there we go, we got use state imported at the top. We set up our counter and set counter for use state and it starts at the position of 0. And then I'm going to go back to the documentation again. I will just copy this layout, everything in between the layout, button, and text. I'll just replace it with that view tag right there. Indent it nicely. And just get rid of those spacings and then save it. And then I believe I'll have to take some of these styles just to make sure that it works properly. I'll copy this part in the styles and then add it to the bottom of my page right here, or my screen right there, and then delete that empty spaces, save it. And now let's try testing out this application and see what it looks like. I'll just hit A for Android. And there we go. We can see that now we get our button and we can click on it and you can see it says pressed 1 times. So you could see that now this UI Kitten is working. You just have to make sure that you set it up at the app.js level with the application provider in order to get this UI Kitten to work. You must have UI Kitten with the application provider imported, and also the star as Eva from Eva Design. It must be imported at the top as well, at the root of this app.js project.